What if the job that brought you to Canada suddenly disappeared? Not because of anything you did wrong, but because the government changed a single program. That could become the reality for thousands of workers if proposals to overhaul the temporary foreign worker program gain momentum. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss important updates. Today's update matters whether you are a foreign worker trying to build a future in Canada, a Canadian citizen concerned about fair job opportunities, or a business owner depending on a reliable workforce. Lawmakers are now debating significant changes. Some are even pushing toward ending the temporary foreign worker program entirely. These decisions could reshape labor, immigration, and the economy across the country. We are breaking down everything you need to know so you can stay ahead. Let's get started. Why this issue is exploding now. The temporary foreign worker program has existed for decades to support industries that cannot find enough Canadian workers. These industries include agriculture, food production, caregiving services, hospitality, trucking, and construction. They rely heavily on foreign workers who fill labor gaps that local recruitment has struggled to meet. However, policymakers now argue that Canada is facing new challenges. Youth unemployment remains high in several regions, wages have not kept pace with inflation, and concerns about labor rights have become impossible to ignore. As a result, the temporary foreign worker program has become a central topic in national political debate. Members of Parliament are now asking critical questions such as, why do so many temporary workers continue filling roles that unemployed Canadians could fill? Is this program boosting economic success or holding workers back? The pressure to address these concerns is growing quickly. Some political voices believe that the temporary foreign worker program needs such extensive reform that the best solution may be to phase it out entirely. Even if that does not happen immediately, the direction of change is becoming increasingly clear. The economic stakes are massive. Certain industries have become deeply dependent on foreign labor. For example, farmers in rural communities warn crops could go unharvested without seasonal workers. Restaurants and hotels rely heavily on international staff, especially in areas with tourism-driven business. Long-term care homes and families need caregivers to support aging populations. Trucking and logistics companies depend on foreign drivers to keep goods moving. Without enough labor, business operations could slow down. This could lead to higher prices for basic goods and essential services. Canadians may feel the impact through reduced access to medical support, higher grocery bills, or delays in food distribution. This is why businesses are alarmed. Even speculation about early program restrictions creates uncertainty for hiring plans and workforce stability. Worker rights and wage concerns are at the center of this debate. At the same time, labor advocates emphasize that many migrant workers are placed in vulnerable positions. Common concerns include limited freedom to switch employers without losing status, unsafe or crowded living conditions, fear of reporting abuse due to threats of deportation, wage differences between foreign workers and Canadians doing similar jobs, lack of job mobility that can enable exploitation. Investigations in recent years have revealed troubling cases of illegal recruitment fees, passport confiscation, and excessive work hours without proper protections. Advocates argue that if a role is essential to Canada's long-term economic needs, the person filling that role should have a real possibility of becoming a permanent resident. They believe that Canada must shift away from temporary labor and toward providing stability and citizenship for workers who contribute to the country for years. Why the government is considering major reform. Lawmakers and public agencies are responding to several strong pressures. Growing expectations that Canadians should receive first opportunity to work, increased demand for stronger workplace safety and labor protections, concerns that employer-tied work permits create power imbalances, the need to align immigration policies with long-term labor demand, not short-term fixes. Public opinion also plays a large role. Many Canadians believe that before relying on foreign recruitment, governments should ensure proper support and incentives for unemployed Canadians, including young people, to step into available jobs. However, the government also recognizes a crucial risk. If Canadians still do not pursue these jobs even with improved conditions, vital industries could face collapse, creating shortages that affect the entire population. As a result, finding the right balance has become a major challenge. What reforms are being discussed today? Policy proposals under consideration include increased wage and benefit standards when hiring foreign workers, stronger labor market impact assessment requirements that prioritize local hiring, more frequent workplace inspections and higher penalties for noncompliance, expanded federal and provincial incentives to train Canadians, future work permit structures that improve job mobility, a shift toward granting permanent residency opportunities for essential occupations. The overall direction is clear. Canada is evaluating ways to depend less on temporary labor over time and to create a workforce that is stronger, protected, and more permanently anchored in the economy. These changes will not take place overnight. Any transition could take months or possibly years to roll out. Who will be impacted first? Temporary foreign workers. Workers may face stricter renewal processes or more limits on employer-specific positions. Those in roles considered lower priority for long-term labor needs may have fewer future opportunities. On the positive side, workers who contribute in essential roles and maintain clean records may experience improvements in stability and access to permanent residency pathways. Employers, small businesses and agricultural producers may experience the greatest hardship. Without access to temporary labor, they may have to increase wages and compete more aggressively for Canadian workers. In the worst cases, some businesses might reduce operations or close. Canadian citizens. Some Canadians may see increased wages and new job opportunities in specific regions. However, the cost of goods and essential services could rise if labor shortages hit critical industries. The benefits and downsides could vary significantly depending on community needs and economic circumstances. What you should do now. Temporary workers should maintain valid legal status without gaps. Keep complete employment and compliance documentation. Explore permanent residency options as soon as eligible. Stay informed as policy updates become available. Employers should plan workforce needs in advance. Improve retention through fair wages and safe working conditions. Review compliance requirements to prevent penalties. Canadian residents should pay attention to how wages and prices shift over time. Support businesses that follow labor laws and uphold ethical treatment. The situation is changing, and those who prepare early are far more likely to navigate the transition successfully. You will want to stay with us because later in this video we will explain one major factor that could completely change your chances, and most people do not know it exists. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you are finding this information valuable. Here is the most important point that many people are unaware of. The Temporary Foreign Worker Program is not ending today, but the rules that determine how it operates are being actively redesigned. The changes being discussed could be implemented more quickly than anyone expects. These changes may move the system in one of two directions: the high-risk direction. If new restrictions are introduced before alternative pathways are ready, workers may struggle to renew permits. Those who cannot secure qualifying job offers may lose their right to remain in Canada. Enforcement may increase for unauthorized employment. This could severely impact families who depend on income from Canada to survive. Being needed today does not guarantee being allowed to stay tomorrow. The high opportunity direction. Advocates and supportive leaders in government are pushing to ensure reforms include improved rights and stronger pathways. Workers with Canadian experience in essential sectors such as caregiving, agricultural production, and healthcare support may finally have more accessible routes toward permanent residency. Long-serving workers who continue contributing to the economy and maintain clean records could benefit from these changes more than ever before. The deciding factor. The critical issue is not whether change is coming. The issue is which policy comes first and how much time workers will have to adjust. Risk and opportunity exist at the same moment. Timing and preparation could determine who secures a future in Canada and who faces removal. Workers who stay informed, prepare early, and explore permanent residency options may gain the greatest advantage. So where do things stand right now? Canada is not ending the Temporary Foreign Worker Program immediately. However, the push for significant reform is very real, and the program may not operate the same way in the near future. Some changes could make temporary employment more difficult to maintain. Other changes could create a fairer and more secure path to permanent residency for those who have built their livelihoods here. If you are a temporary foreign worker, this is the time to take action. Keep your documents secure. Understand which permanent pathways you may qualify for. If you are an employer, begin preparing for potential labor shortages and compliance enforcement. If you are a Canadian citizen, stay vigilant for wage and cost changes that can impact your household. This issue is evolving quickly. We will monitor the latest developments and continue delivering updates to help you stay ahead. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and comment below with your questions. We reply to as many as we can. See you in the next video.